Hello and welcome to Comic Art Mastery. My name is Mike Van Orden. So generally, I'll start out with just some quick movements of the pencil. Um, really, in this stage, and this is what I tell my students is just always keep your pencil moving. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of the lead here. Keep the pencil moving, and don't worry too much about the outcome yet. What we're really focused on here is putting down the information that we have in our mind onto the paper or tablet as fast as possible. The reason you want to do this is because think of yourself as an editor of, a writer. Most writers I know, they'll take their ideas that they have in their mind, and they'll go ahead and put them down on paper, and they'll write as much as they can, and then they'll come back and they'll do the editing and chopping and minimizing and fine tuning and all that good stuff. I think the same thing goes for art. So when you first sketch, it might look like chicken scratch. It might look like, something that's unrecognizable to most, but you know what you're doing, and you're going to surprise people with the outcome. So and you can make adjustments. And the great thing about drawing on a tablet, and I'm using the Procreate app on my iPad Pro, and I'm using Apple Pencil. I really recommend these. They're really good for practice, and if you're on the road. I travel a lot, so I like to sketch and take my tablet with me, my iPad with me everywhere I go. But my true love is really traditional, pencil paper art, and I'll get more into that. And I'll post some videos of that here in the next coming weeks. By the way, this is my first full-fledged YouTube video, so thanks for joining. I'm looking forward to posting a lot more. Just depends on the demand. I have a really busy schedule, but I really want to take the time to help out as many people as I can. All right, so here we have kind of a sketch. Now I can already tell that this leg is a little too high up on the body with the torso. So I'll make some adjustments there, and then I will have his head turning to his right shoulder, facing us towards our left. And so it doesn't look like too much now, but if you can just bear with me, you'll see that this will turn into something a little bit better. Now, I'm not going to promise it's going to be a masterpiece or anything, but it will turn out better than what it looks like now, I would hope. All right, so what I'll do at this stage is I'll go ahead and reduce the opacity, which is the equivalent of erasing. And typically when I'm drawing, I use a number 2 lead with a lead holder. And for my eraser, generally I'll use a gum eraser, like a kneaded eraser. And I'll show you all that stuff in one of my upcoming videos. Okay, so now we've reduced the opacity. We're going to go ahead and jump in and kind of just find the lines that we want to keep. Now this process, it's not that tedious once you get used to it. I'll end up drawing the character 2, 3, 4 times sometimes, but all that is repetition. And what happens with repetition? You get better. It commits to your muscle memory. You start, you've heard the phrase second nature. I mean, that's basically what happens is you draw so many times that this stuff becomes downloaded into your your file cabinet of art reference and experience. So I'm just kind of shaping in a head. Now I don't know the character I'm drawing yet, but let's see. Maybe he'll turn out to be someone that we all know and love or hate. Let's see what happens. So now I'm just trying to find some lines that kind of identify certain muscle groups. And I'm not too focused on trying to get this perfect. this is practice. When I do paid work, and I come in and I work for my clients or whomever, then I'll spend a lot more time, and I'll make sure that everything is more accurate. But generally, when I'm drawing, this is kind of the way I proceed. This is my method. And okay, so now we're getting down to the torso area, and once you study anatomy enough, you kind of know where to place things pretty accurately. I mean, at least accurate enough to have a decent style. And really, when it comes to commercial art like this, which is it is commercial art because you are in most cases you are trying to share it and get paid for it ultimately, and so your style is something that you want to pay attention to. And because what happens is once you develop your own style, people start recognizing the art, and they start recognizing that it's coming from you. And that's pretty cool because since I've fallen in love with art at a young age, one of the things that I used to do was go to a comic shop, and I would look at the covers, and I would automatically know who sketched that cover, whether it was Rob Liefeld or Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane or whomever, J. Scott Campbell. It was all these heroes of mine, and so their brand, which is their style, was recognizable. So, and it still is. And there's a lot of artists that have a great style that you can recognize immediately. Okay, so now we've got this kind of character looking like he's ready for battle, and let's just add a little bit more detail to his arm that's further away from us. So I'm not sure what your art level is, so I'm trying to make these videos enjoyable for all levels, whether you're intermediate or just starting out, or maybe you're even advanced and you're just looking for inspiration or motivation, or maybe you're looking to critique me and tell me how much I suck. That's up to you. It's you have to have thick skin whenever you're expressing and sharing a part of you to the world. I mean, you can't expect everyone to love your work. Okay, so now we have a general outline of a character. So let's dive in, and I'm going to do a little bit more detail. And keep in mind, when you're doing these under sketches like this, don't get married or committed to the art just yet. Everything's subject to change. In fact, expect yourself to want to change something, because as you start trucking along and you start making this progress, and you're like, wow, this is either it's going to be, wow, this is something that is coming together very well, or it's going to be like, oh man, I'm hitting this sticking point. I've got a hiccup here and I'm not sure how to get past it. You have to keep yourself open to change it around, to make quick fixes, tweak things and all that good stuff. So I think what I'm doing is I'm leaning into my default character that I love to draw, which is Wolverine. And there's no shame in that. We all have our characters that we kind of fall into as we're sketching. And let's see what I can do here. The reason I love drawing Wolverine is because he conveys so much emotion and action. His body is always twisted, contorted, ready to spring into battle. And I like that about him. He never backs down. He's he's rough on the edges, and he's he's got a lot of expression, and for me he's just really fun to sketch. Now, I don't know if I'm going to add any elements of his costume just yet. Let's see. And I think, let's see. I tend to move my pencil pretty quickly, and this is what I tell my students: always keep your pencil or whatever you're using, keep it moving, especially in this stage. You want to keep everything very static, not static, you want to avoid being static. You want to keep everything very very alive. You don't want your art to look stiff. So motion creates emotion. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before. A lot of people use it for motivation and things like that, but really what it's coming down to is keep your pencil moving and let your mind catch up later. You won't regret it, trust me. Now, a lot of artists I see, what they try to do is they try to get everything perfect on the first shot. You're trying to hit a home run, and you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're only focused on perfection every single time you put the pencil to paper. Now, that could be your goal. You might have this goal to have everything look amazing at the end, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that, but enjoy the process. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and take your time, and you might even discover something along the way. So right now I'm pretty satisfied with the way he's looking. He's looking pretty fierce. He's looking like he's ready to pounce. He's not taking any crap from anyone. Let's see here. And what do you think? Should I do shirtless Wolverine, or should I put a costume? Or maybe we'll do both. Let's see. All right, so now I'm going to go from this stage. I'm going to go ahead and add another layer. I'm going to take this first layer, or the second layer that we did, and I'm going to reduce it, and I'm going to get rid of this one. And this just kind of gives us kind of an outline. So now this stage is, this is where you're really kind of paying more attention. I'm going to switch over to kind of a pencil lead color, I suppose. See how it looks. And whenever I reduce the size of my point, it's almost like I'm sharpening the lead. That's how I see it. And then I'm just going to go in here, and now I'm just going to dive into some details. Now, typically I'll spend a good amount of time on a sketch, but for the sake of time and not boring you to death, I'm going to rush through this as if I was in a speed drawing contest. Now, at this stage, I'm still trying to capture the essence of the mood, but at the same time, I'm trying to find which lines I want to keep and which ones I can sacrifice. And as you notice, when I do draw, I don't connect all the lines together. I think there's something fun about, leaving room for interpretation. Our minds are really, really funny. We have these subconscious minds that really put things together, and we underestimate how much brain power that we actually have without even using it. It's just this natural thing that occurs that we don't even really know. But what I'm trying to say is, if I don't connect his lips, for instance, our mind's still going to put it all together. Okay, so getting down to the bottom of his chin, from the chin, I just go to the jawline. Now he's got kind of a boxy jawline, so I'm just going to pop it out a little bit more. And then I'm going to pop in his ear. And you can see I'm not spending too much time trying to perfect anything here. I just want this to look like Wolverine. And I could even change this mouth to more of a grimace, and I might. Let me add some eyeballs in here. And so far so good. And then he has his famous sideburns, so let's add some of those in. And like I said earlier, drawing with a tablet and Apple Pencil or whatever you're using, it's fun. And I'm certainly, I would never label myself as a digital artist, but I think as an artist, or someone who likes to draw, even if you're a hobbyist, any tool could be used as an ends to your whatever it is that you desire to create. So in this case, I'm doing the best that I can in my ability to sketch in such a way that feels natural for me. It took a while for me to get used to sketching on a glass surface. One thing that helped me, and it might help you too if you haven't already, is I purchased this, it's called Paper-like. It's a screen protector, and it really does make a difference because it has a little bit of tooth to it, and so it almost feels, not 100%, but does feel more like you're drawing on a paper type surface. So I like that. Okay, I've gotten these details in, and now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of chin hair. Wolverine can shave with his claws, but his hair grows back really fast. So he just shaved like 3 minutes before this pose, and he's already got stubble coming. And not worried about drawing every single stubble there, just enough to convey a little message to our minds that, hey, he's got some stubble. And let's see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and work on the body. You know what? Let me add a little bit more to the mouth here. Add a little bit of a top lip. And I think that this will help pop it out. Let's see. Maybe a little bit of a bottom lip here. Give him a little bit of some face lines, aka wrinkles. My MacBook just went to sleep. I want to make sure I'm not losing this. Bear with me. You know what? I've never been able to get my MacBook to the point where it doesn't just go to sleep mode or whatever. If you guys can help me in the comments, that would be great. Okay, it's open. Still going. It looks like we're about 20 minutes in. I'm going to try and wrap this up here in the next 10-15 minutes because, attention spans these days are hard to come by. And I certainly don't want to take too much of your time. But if you are interested in learning more and maybe, having me help you, you can follow me on Instagram at Van Orden Art, or you can take some of my classes that I'm actually instructing on Udemy. I'm about to launch my first standalone class before the end of this month, and now we're in October 2021. So I should be launching that within the next 3-4 days. Just doing some fine tuning and some editing, and everything else is looking great. Okay, let's see. And if you guys, one of the people who got me into working on Udemy is a guy by the name of Ed Wojciech. He's a really cool dude, and he talked me into teaching on Udemy. So if you haven't checked out his work, you should. His name's Ed Wojciech. He created a cool character named Captain Korea, spelled with a C. Apparently, Korea used to spell their country name with the letter C back in the day. Okay, so I'm just going to add in kind of almost like an elbow here, and then divide a little bit here. See, I don't have much time here to do all the details I'd like to do, but I think this is showing you a little of what you can do even on an iPad. And so maybe you guys can leave some suggestions on what you'd like me to draw in the next video. I can, tell me your sticking points, what you're struggling with, and maybe I can assist you. A lot of my students struggle with drawing faces, drawing, legs, drawing, what else? Emotion, and even drawing females, drawing, whatever it is. If you're having a tough time drawing, one of the things I'm pretty well known for, I think, is rendering. I love to render my art. I love detail. That's one of my favorite parts of the process. So if you want to learn about rendering, I actually have a course on Udemy going over some rendering, but I might want to do some more videos on that topic here on YouTube and other platforms. Okay, so we have this. Let me draw on this other arm here, this other leg, this other hand. As you can see, I'm really rushing through this, but it's okay. It's all good. You guys should be getting the idea. And when I do some art with my traditional pencils, I'll probably take my time. I really love drawing with pencil. I love the sound of the paper with the pencil hitting it. I really, it's just nostalgic every time. And if you're not in the mood to draw sometimes, and you hit like that, writer's block, and we also have artist block, if you hit that, one of the things I suggest that you do that really helps me, and it's helped my students, is look at some of your art from before, look at some of your favorite artists' art, and then get a little bit of inspiration going, and then go ahead and just pick up a blank sheet of paper, and basically just start scribbling and get that pencil moving. Because once you start that pencil moving, it's going to signal to your brain like, hey, this guy is ready to draw, or this girl's ready to draw. Like, it's funny how our mind operates, but yeah. Okay. And with the hair, you can come back in and add a little bit more detail, darken it up. I'm going to keep the light source would be coming back from here above the head, and so I'm going to keep that in mind, so I won't put too much shading towards that light. And I am a art mentor and coach, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them my way. You can send them here on YouTube, or send them to my DMs on Instagram. I also have an Instagram for Comic Art Mastery, and that's just Comic Art Mastery. Instagram, you can find me there. Um, I do commissions and all that stuff, which due to COVID, I was having a tough time because I don't know if I explained to you guys, but I'm actually from America, born and raised, but I've been traveling for about 4 years, and I'm currently in Thailand. So for a long time, the country was shut down, just like almost every other country, and I couldn't mail anything to America. No international mail, so that was a bummer. And but things are looking better. Looks like things are going to open up here soon, and I'll be able to get back on track with some commissions. And when you're drawing someone like Wolverine, this guy, I know Hugh Jackman, he did a great job at playing Wolverine, but he was this tall, handsome, rock star, movie star. Wolverine in the comics, at least the one I'm familiar with and the one I like, he's kind of short, and um, he's stout, let's say that, and he's really strong, and has a temper and goes berserk, and he's hairy, and I kind of like that because it's kind of like brings out his animal side. So I tend to draw a lot of hair on him, and you can go ahead and draw on his chest too. I'm not going to do it right now because I think it's going to take up too much time. Let's see what else I can demonstrate here. Let's go ahead and work this hand in. And so here we go, looking doable. It's okay. Not my best piece of work, but hey, we're drawing on a glass surface. What do you expect? But you know what? I can't say that because there's some great artists out there who primarily sketch on, iPad using Procreate, and they're amazing. So, yeah, something for me to consider as well. And let's see, do I want to pop some claws out here? So what I would have to do if I were making this like a real sketch, I'd have to come in and erase all this, do a little bit more detailed work. And there we go. So we have a quick sketch of Wolverine. I think it's okay. Let's add some contrast here. So when you're drawing, you want to kind of get into the habit of creating volume and adding values, and remembering where your light source is, and trying to make your character come to life as much as you can, because no one wants to see a stiff piece of art, and no one wants to draw a stiff piece of art. It gets frustrating. I remember when I used to when I first started out sketching, I remember my art just seemed kind of lifeless, and there's ways around that. There's ways to add life to your sketches, and stick with me, and I'll give you some of my pointers, and hopefully it gets better from here. Let's see here. Okay, so we're about 30 minutes in. Heck, I don't know. Should I do like another sketch? What do you think? Well, for those of you who want to stick around, let's do another quick sketch. I'm going to go ahead and do a headshot. Let's see here. I'm going to merge. Let's see how this looks. Looks pretty cool without the blue, but I kind of like the blue in there. It kind of gives it that rough, like traditional feel. Even that blue is kind of cool. Lower. Yeah, see, you get a little shade in. It's pretty cool, right? I don't know. I like it. Anyway, let's. I'm going to go ahead and merge this layer down one, and then I'm going to lighten that up. Let's see. Cool. And let's go ahead and start a new sketch. So, trying to think of where my students typically struggle, and let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pop this layer way up on top here. I'm going to show you how to do a profile headshot. And a profile headshot, it's one of my favorites. It's really easy to do, and I know a lot of people struggle. There's really one popular headshot, which is a 3/4 view. And I don't know how well you can do that. Maybe I can show you a couple of tricks on that too. But then the profile, which is just means side view, that one's a lot of fun too, because it's you do this enough times, and it just becomes easier and easier as you get going. So what I'll do is I'll just basically draw kind of like an egg shape like this, and once you have that egg shape, then I'll just draw a straight line down and then pull that line in, and then about maybe a little bit more than halfway down that center of the egg, I'll pop that up for just a measurement. Now, eye line would be somewhere around the middle here because he's looking ahead, but with this one in particular, I'm going to do kind of an eye line like this. And what that's doing is it's giving me the ability to kind of give him more features. Then I would do kind of a bridge of a nose here, and then I'm going to imagine his eyes socket in this region, nose here, and then mouth here. And this, when I'm doing this, think of it as just like the first sketch. When you're doing your underdrawing, what you're doing is you're transferring the information, all the data from your mind to your paper as fast as possible, and then you're going to sort it out later. So all this stuff, even this sketch here, is subject to change, but all I'm trying to do is capture the image that's in my mind right now. And so here we go. So we have all the information. You see, we have the placement of where his eyes are, and then a trick that I've picked up, and I don't know if it's something that every artist would use, but what I typically do is from the corner of this eye here, I'll draw a line down towards his chin and jawline, and that gives me kind of a good division. And then from the corner of this mouth here, I'll draw an imaginary line, or in this case, I'll make it real, and it gives me kind of the bone structure. Now this is going to vary from sketch to sketch, because remember, everyone has their own shape and size, and not every skull is the same. Not every body type is the same. Not every face is the same, right? I mean, everyone has their own unique features, and that's the cool part about being an artist, is you get to create all that. You are the costume designer, you're the makeup artist, you're the sci-fi effects, artist, you're the director. You're taking on all these jobs, so have fun with it. This is your world. People are coming to visit you, and you want to show them, you want to give them an experience that makes them want to come back. That's really what art is. Okay. It's communicating, whatever it is that you're trying to express. So here we go. Basic outline for a, under sketch for a side profile shot. And then I'm going to go ahead and lower the opacity, which is, if you're doing this traditionally, that would be just erasing and leaving just kind of a ghost of the sketch behind. And now let's go ahead and draw in some eyes. I'm going to sharpen this pencil. There you go. And the cool thing about, this technology that we're using with Procreate is it's pressure sensitive, so they try to help mimic traditional mediums as much as possible, and I think that's cool. So I can get really light lines, or I can push down and get dark lines, and so on and so forth. Now I'm just going to go ahead and guesstimate where his mouth is. Draw a chin here. Connect that chin. Now I like to draw a line connecting to this muscle that goes back up around behind and connects to the back of the head behind the ear. And this muscle is on either side of the neck, and that muscle is responsible for twisting and turning your neck. So it's a really important one to have. Without that one, you can never say no. And now what I'll do is just draw in some other details, like his ears. And I've made this, I'm kind of going with the gritty older character because I started out drawing Wolverine, and I only know how old Wolverine is. I know he's pretty darn old though, and he's been through a lot. But let's say that we're gonna have this character looking back this way. The eye is a little bit bigger than I would typically draw, and I don't like it, so I'm sorry. I'm going to come back and make a quick minor correction on that. And again, this is still part of the underdrawing, so this is all changeable. We're not committed to anything, just having fun. And we'll come back, and if this were Wolverine, one thing that I would say is he has a really thick neck, so I'd probably start the back of his neck around here and then go into his trap muscles and all that good stuff. And let's do something. Let's do a sketch with his mask on. So I'm going to go ahead and lower that. Actually, let's increase it a little bit more. All right, so now we're going to work on his mask. So I'm going to do another layer with blue line here. And I'm going to imagine him wearing his mask. I'm going to lighten it up. What are we doing? We are running on 39 minutes. Wow, okay. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this eye here. Now, with his mask, I'm going to shorten his nose because Wolverine kind of has a shorter nose. And a shorter jaw. He's got a boxier jaw. So this is one of those instances where, I was saying earlier, don't get too committed to your sketch because everything is subject to change. And if you're working professionally, your editor is probably going to ask for changes often. Or if you're doing commissions for a client, or whatever you're doing, just get used to being flexible with your art. If you're drawing for yourself, that's one thing, and you don't really have to worry about stuff like that. But just keep an open mind that you might have to make some changes here and there. My laptop just went back to sleep mode again. Really need to make some adjustments there. Everything's still recording. Good. I'm going to wrap this up within 5 minutes though. Okay. Now, I'm going to give him kind of a shorter mask. This. And so all we've done is we've created a, information. And now we're going to take that information, we're going to get rid of, we're going to reduce the opacity of this. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to, wait, I think maybe, that's good. Let me get to where I can see some of the mask. Okay, that looks better. I can even do this. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep this, but lower it down a little bit more. Okay, because we did adjust his head. So let's go back to pencil lead, and let's go ahead and add another layer. Let's sharpen up our pencil a little bit more, and let's go ahead and get to work on this, actually. Feeling like this might be a little too dark, but it's okay. I can work with it. So at this stage, I'm going to minimize, you know, the speed of my pencil. And the reason I'm doing that now is because I'm paying particular attention to, you know, certain details. What do I want to convey here? What kind of mood is he in? And, you know, every time I see Wolverine, he's always kind of in this brooding, you know, this grumpy mood where he's just, you know, he's mad at the world. Okay. All right. So we've gotten kind of a mouth here, and let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna give him a thicker neck. Let's draw on this mask. I like to keep it kind of sketchy. And underneath here, I like to add this kind of a muscle underneath his jaw here. You can give kind of an outline where his ear would be, maybe hint to it. And let's see what happens if we get rid of this one. Let's see. It's pretty good. I'd buy that for $1. Take some of the chin here. Okay. Well, you get the gist of this. I was kind of rushing through. What you would do then is you can go ahead and kind of mark where you want to do your shading. So maybe I'd do all this black. Same here. Black in here. And darken this up a little bit. And maybe put a hand with a claw in front of him. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that, but someone's messaging me on Facebook. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and stop with this, pull back, and we have a nice little Wolverine. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And at the end of any sketch, what I always recommend is go ahead and just add your little signature to it. And I can't even spell my name. I was looking away at my computer. How you like that? Messing up my own name. And then, keep going. So I hope that this first video of mine provided some value for you. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd want me to change up, if you want me to keep the videos shorter, or if you prefer me to use traditional art. I'm thinking about doing some live streams, and like I said before, I'll be promoting and launching some courses on Udemy very, very soon. I already have a few out there where I've collaborated with other artists, but yeah, I'll have my own standalone classes out pretty soon where I cover all this stuff, and a lot of that's going to be traditional art. So there we go. Hope that this helped, and if you like my art, please like this video and subscribe, because I have plenty new material coming your way. All right, again, my name is Mike Van Orden, and thanks for joining me today. I will see you soon.